Hey everyone, welcome to Brave Souls. So tonight, in honor of Foster Care Awareness Month, I am bringing a former guest back on with me. She was on in season 1. She shared about her adoption journey, and now she's going to share more about her life in foster care. So we were going to welcome Brittany Sanzo. As soon as she comes on, she'll request to join in, and we'll get started shortly. Hi, Yal. Hi, Bethany. Brittany is on. How's my girls tonight? Okay, and I'm going to pull Brittany in now. The Dry Blonde, hello, welcome. Hey.
Hey, Michelle, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good.
Good. Let me just put me down a little bit. Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. How's your day?
It's good. How's your day?
It was good.
Come on, Maya.
Oh, your dog wants to be on the live? Aww. No, he's like, nope. Hi, Raya. Hey, girl. Hey, Jenny. Hello. Welcome. So, your day was good?
Yeah, it was good.
Good.
It's almost Friday, sort of. So.
Close enough.
Yeah, close enough.
Yeah. I'm just gonna give it just a few more seconds. Wait for
Sure.
people to come on. Yeah, thanks for coming back on with me. I did.
Yeah, of course.
Do the intro that you were on last season with me.
Yes.
But this is a special live tonight. So.
Yeah, special.
Well, they're all special, but for foster care, I mean.
Yeah. And you can feel free, to ask me questions, which, can help with the conversation, because I'm not sure, how much I can give for this. But, yeah, you can ask anything you
I
want.
will do my best. Okay.
And anyone else who's on can also ask.
Yes. We are always open for questions and comments. Hi, Korean Adopted. Welcome.
Yeah.
So, what are any fun plans for the weekend?
I'm going to look at new cars.
Nice.
Yeah, my car.
Any in particular, or?
So I'm looking at a Honda Civic on Friday. My
nice.
car is just not doing too hot. So, and I really need a good car for my job. So,
yeah.
Hopefully I can trade it in, get something new. We'll see.
Yeah. Honda Civics are good. I actually just got. Oh, that's much better.
I saw you just got a new car.
Yeah, I just. Well, it's funny because I had a Toyota Corolla, and I have the same one. It's just the newer year.
Newer. Yeah. I used to drive a Corolla, and I loved my Corolla, and then it got totaled.
Oh.
So then I bought a Hyundai, and my Hyundai is just giving me a ton of problems. So.
Hondas are nice though. I like Hondas.
Yeah. Honda, I'm looking at Hondas or Toyotas. We'll see. I'm going to go with one of the cars that I can run into the ground for the next couple years.
There you go. That's perfect. So. Okay, so we'll get started. Welcome everyone. Brittany, welcome back. So yes, Brittany is back on. She was on last season. She's going to talk more about foster care. Oh, but what I was going to say was, so for anyone who joins in late or isn't able to join, of course, I always save the lives right to my page after, so you can watch them anytime. So we'll do a little recap we'll start off with a little bit about your adoption.
Sure.
Or actually, it would probably be the other way around, actually.
Yeah.
So let's start off with the foster care. So what age did you go into foster care?
So it's a little bit tricky. So just to recap about my biological family. So my biological mom and dad were not married. And my biological dad was about 8 or 9 years older than my biological mom. They were both heavily involved in drugs and alcohol. And because of that, there was a lot of fighting that took place all the time. We were unstably housed, and I use that term because I am a homeless outreach social worker. So we weren't homeless, but we were living in hotels. So we had a place to stay, but it wasn't permanent. It was unstable.
Right.
So what would happen is we would be staying in these hotels and motels, very specifically motels. And, you know, they would be using drugs and alcohol and get into fights, which, of course, when you're in a public area and you're in motels, people start to hear. And there was, I like so vividly remember because it was so traumatic. They got into a fight that was taken outside of the motel room, and my biological dad pushed my mom down a flight of stairs, and somebody called the police, and that was the first time that I was ever put into the system. I was about, I don't even know how old I don't even know. But I was placed into the system, and like I said, my parents weren't married. So my mom was the one who had sole custody of me according to the state. So the state had tried to work with her and the social worker. I had a couple different social workers growing up, and they had said to my biological mom, you know, if you are able to get clean, get sober, you will get custody back of your daughter, which of course the foster care system, the whole point of it is family reunification. So the social worker worked with my mom. She had gotten clean, and I returned back to my biological mom. During this time, from what I found out from biological family that I've come in contact with the past year and a half, my biological mom had removed me from the state of New Jersey and took me to Pennsylvania. She was not supposed to do this, but she did this.
Oh, no.
And she took me to her sister's house, I think, and was trying to run away from like the DIFUS case. So of
With
course, yes, with me.
Oh.
So when the social worker was like trying to do visitations and they couldn't find me, they sent out like a search, whatever. They found her. She lost custody again immediately because she like violated whatever the terms were of the agreement to get me back. So that was now the second time I got placed back into the same foster home that I had previously lived in. And then the cycle repeated itself where my mom, when she ran away, she started using again. She came back. They again were like, we're going to work with you. We want you to have custody of your daughter. She got clean. I went back to live with her, and then she failed her drug test, and I got put back in the system. And at that point, the parental rights were terminated because that was like a 3 strike and you're out rule.
Yeah.
So I was actually talking to my adoptive mom like a month ago, and she was like, you know, what's really crazy is up until like you were 7 years old, which is when I was adopted, she was like, you only spent a total of 16 months with your biological family. Wow. So I spent, of the 7 years, so 6 years of my childhood in foster care. Wow. The foster home that I lived in was, so I was born and adopted in the same county. Okay. So I always lived in the same county. I wasn't like from a different state or anything. So the foster home that I lived in was also in the same county that I was born in and the same county that I was adopted in. And my foster home had, I don't even know how many kids, because there were so many kids that came in and out. But the way that the house was set up is all of the foster kids stayed in the basement, and all of the foster parents' family stayed on like the other, like first and second floor of the house. So there were 2 bedrooms that were down in the basement, and each bedroom had 3 bunk beds. So there was a girl's bedroom and a boy's bedroom, and each bedroom could fit 6 children. So there was times where we had 12 foster kids in a basement in 2 bedrooms.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and we weren't like the way that my foster mom had set everything up is like we were not allowed in the house during the day if it was summer. Like we ate breakfast and we had to be outside all day until dinner. So it's so funny if you look at pictures of me when I was like really young, like my skin was a completely different color because I was just I was outside all day. Like we were not allowed to be inside. we would come in to eat lunch for like 30 minutes, and then it was like back outside.
Is it because she
Like,
just didn't want to take care of all the kids?
she didn't want us in the house. And I don't know, like, I think maybe it's because I was so young and I didn't really like understand what was going on. But like looking back on it now, like there was clearly something wrong with like how that whole thing like was operating. Just for the mere fact that the foster kids were separated from the biological family of the foster parent. And like she would go on vacation, and when she would go on vacation with her family, all the foster kids were sent to different foster homes. So like we were kind of in and out, bouncing around from foster home to foster home, like back and forth. And then of course, you know, like going back with your biological family and then being returned. And it's like, it was really difficult because I was so young, and those are like your crucial bonding times for you to even like learn how to attach to people, that I was just like so angry. And one of my favorite things is, yeah, for sure. And one of my favorite stories is like when I moved in with my case had been moved from foster to adopt after the parental rights were like initially revoked, which is when my adoptive mom found this out and was like, we're planning to adopt. So I had moved from my foster mom's home into the house with my now parents. And I didn't know that my case had been moved to foster to adopt. And even if I did know, it's not like I knew what that meant. I was like 6. But when I moved in, the social worker that was working with my parents said, you know, the universal language in foster care is the middle finger. They don't even know what it means, but they know to use it when they're angry. And so they were like, just be prepared if Brittany, like, you know,
flips you off,
throws around the F-bomb. Like, she doesn't know what it means, but she's heard it in enough context to like understand how to use it. So they were like, yeah, be aware if she uses the finger, if she flips you up, like curses at you. So here I am. I'm not adopted yet. I'm living in my teacher's house, which of course I thought was like really weird.
Yeah.
And I had a very strong fixation on my adoptive mom. Like I loved her. And I was like, every day when I would come into school, this was before I lived with her, she would like wait there and give me a big hug. Like she knew that I was in foster care. So when I moved into their house, I always wanted to be near her, always. And they had 2 other children who were older. So there was one night where I wanted to sit next to her on the couch, and my brother sat down next to her, and I was like, well, I wanted to sit there. My mom was like, you know, we have to share, like, it's Daniel's time to sit next to us. And I, under the table, started giving the finger.
Oh, no.
And my mom was, she when she tells us right now, she's like, I was trying so hard not to laugh. But, like, you look at this little skinny, like, blonde 6-year-old just giving you the finger under the table. And but that was like a huge thing when I lived in foster. Like I was cursing when I was like 4 or 5 years old, because that's all we did. Like we didn't have supervision. Like my foster mom wasn't, and I know everyone's foster story is different. There are like really, really great foster parents, for sure there are. But I think in my circumstance, I think my foster mom might have just been fostering to get money from the state. Considering how many children,
for the wrong reasons.
Yeah, considering how many children lived in the house and the lack of attention that we got, and there really was just no supervision ever. Like one of the foster girls ended up running away, and I remember she ran away, and there was like this giant police police case where they were trying to find her, and she had run off with a boy that she met online, and like she was about to, like, something bad was about to happen. But like at least they knew that she ran away, and they made the police report. But you know, there really wasn't supervision, and for like a foster kid to be able to just run away like that is
shouldn't be that easy.
Yeah, it shouldn't be that easy. So so yeah, I guess like within the 7 years before, like within the first 7 years of my life up until I was adopted, I spent 6 of those years bouncing back and forth between foster care and living with bio mom, and back and forth.
So how what was it? Speaking of attention, my dog is taking a lot of my attention, so I'm just petting him right now. What was it like with you and the other kids? Did you guys get along? Did you have any issues with the other kids, fighting?
So I don't remember having any issues with any other kids. I was very, very, very close with another girl that was in foster care with me. Were in the same room together, and her name was also Brittany. And
Okay.
I remember being like really, really close with her, and then her leaving one day and just never coming back. And I remember like being so sad about that because again, like that crucial age where you're trying to attach to
Attachment, yeah.
people, and then you finally attach to someone and then they just leave and you never see them ever again. And I wasn't like at the age where I'm like, oh, keep in touch, like I know like, no, we were like 5 and I was
Of
like, oh,
course.
this is my friend Brittany, we share the same name. It's like I could not tell you what that girl's last name is now. I don't know where she is. But there was another boy in the house that was in my kindergarten class, and we
Okay.
lived together in foster care, and we were also in the same kindergarten class.
Okay.
So, and we got along, but we got along except for like one day where my adoptive mom, also knew that we were in the same house. So she gave him just as much attention as she gave me
Mm-hmm.
because she knew the kids that needed like a little bit extra like love. And I used to get so mad and so jealous because I was like, she's gonna pick him, like, not that I even knew what was going on, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't remember having any. There was one kid that lived in the house, but that was my foster mom's son. She ended up adopting him. She adopted 2 of her foster kids, and this was one that she adopted, and he was mean. He was really, really mean. But he didn't live downstairs with us because he was adopted, so he lived upstairs.
Oh,
So there was like a clear
God.
separation
Yeah.
of who was a foster kid and who was not.
Wow. That's a shame.
Yeah.
You guys were separated like that. What was it like for you, like, in school? Did other classmates know you were a foster kid, and did they make fun of you? Did you get bullied?
No, I don't think that. I mean, being so young, because I was in foster care up until kindergarten, and then in first grade is when I moved in with my adoptive parents.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wasn't adopted until spring of first grade. So
So you were
no one
young.
knew what was going on until after I was adopted, because my mom had asked my first grade teacher if she could come in and explain to the class what adoption was.
Oh, I love.
So, yeah, so after the adoption was finalized, my mom came in with my dad. Both of them came in, they took off work, came into my first grade class, read a book about like, I don't even remember what the book was, and was just kind of like answered questions that, any 6 or 7 regarding adoption, of just like, well, why isn't Brittany with her real family? And my mom would answer like, we are her real family. She's a part of our family, and now like, whatever. So that was, I think because my mom was a teacher, she was able to, and she was a kindergarten teacher, she was able to have the conversations with
He's able to communicate
the
with the kids.
children
Yeah.
what was going on in
And
like
that's
an
so
effective
important. I
way.
think that's amazing that that's something in school should be taught, educated on,
Oh,
whether
for
it be
sure.
teachers or a parent coming in and explaining to kids, like, there are some children that may be adopted, and just go into full detail about that.
Yeah, and I think like after we did that, we did a whole exercise on like the different dynamics of family.
Mm-hmm.
And other kids were like, well, I have like 2 dads, and they would say like, my mom's divorced and I have like another dad.
Oh,
And it, I don't know, at such a young age, I think it's so important to talk about like different dynamics of families, especially
yeah,
now like in 2021, when you have
for
like
sure.
kids with 2 dads or kids with 2 moms or
Exactly.
blended families. And it's just a really important conversation to have now,
Exactly. It's
especially, but
not
that,
all black and white now. There's so much diversity, and it should
yeah.
be taught. Absolutely.
And that was the big difference in 2001. I mean, it's been 20 years now. That
Mm-hmm.
is crazy. That's crazy. It's
Yeah.
been 20 years. So
Yeah. Now, do you at all talk to your foster parents, or any of the kids in the house that were with you?
no, I don't. I don't. I did write a letter to my foster mom when I graduated college.
Okay.
I don't know if she ever received it. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But I did write her a letter to just say, like, I just want to let you know that I just graduated with my bachelor's degree in social work. This is what I'm up to. And like I said, I don't know how many kids she has fostered over the years, if she even like knows who I am. But there was one time when my mom said that she did come in to register one of her foster kids at the school that my mom worked at. And she did remember that my mom adopted me. And she asked my mom how I was doing.
Okay.
But it was weird. It was just kind of like there was a separation. I never felt like, oh, this is like my foster mom. Like I never felt like she really like cared about me. I just kind of felt like I was just living there.
Yeah.
So
So now your work is you are a social worker with
the homeless.
homeless.
Yeah.
So you want to explain a little bit about that?
Yes. So my job, I do homeless outreach in Montgomery County, Maryland, which is right outside DC, and I live in Arlington, Virginia, right outside DC. So basically, I interact with individuals who are street homeless, living on the street, and I connect them with services and I house them. So I work with the county. I'm kind of the in-between advocate for the client and the county to kind of push and be like, this is why this client needs to be prioritized to be housed. Or if it's kind of like a low barrier type of thing, I will advocate to get funding to help with the client being able to move into their own unit.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
It's amazing. You've been doing that for how long? How many years?
5 years.
5 years. Okay. And you're loving it. I know you're on live and all, but I mean, honestly,
Yeah, I do. It's stressful at times, but I think in any profession where you're working with people's lives, it is stressful. It's not like I'm out here trying to crunch numbers and get stuff for a company. It's that I literally am that go-to person for people who have no one, which is a heavy burden to carry a lot of times because God forbid something happens. You're kind of that go-to person of point of contact. So like this week I have a client who was admitted into a psych hospital for suicidal ideation. And like I was the person to get the call that like, oh, he's like talking about killing himself. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So it is very like emotionally tolling, but I'm trained in doing it. So it's just a lot when it's just like every client is on the same path. I just like it can get to be a lot.
I mean, yeah, trained or not trained, it's still emotional.
Yeah. It is.
Well, I love the work that you were doing, and I think it's beautiful. Obviously, keep doing it.
Yeah.
Happy, and I'm sure you're helping so many lives.
I hope so.
Yeah.
That's why I went into the field.
Oh, well, to wrap up, because I know we wanted to keep this on a shorter side. I wanted to ask you two last questions. So normally I say, I ask, what advice would you give to an adoptee, which you are, and what advice you give to adoptive parents. But I'm gonna actually switch it around. What advice would you give to a foster child?
God, that's hard. I guess to just like not be discouraged in your relationships, because it really is like when you are there's a whole different level, and I know we talked about this the last time I was on live about how many different levels of adoption there are. You have like your transracial adoptees, your adoptees who were adopted at birth, adopted out of foster care. And I think when you are old enough in foster care, you really, really feel like no one cares about you, because if they did, you wouldn't be in a random person's house, and you would be with a family member who stepped up, and you would be like not in that situation. I think that just along with all the other traumas that come along with living in foster care, there's a lot of that like no one cares about me, low self-worth. So I guess what I would say is just like don't let that creep into your mind and make you feel like you're worthless, because you're not. Yeah, that would be like my biggest thing.
No, it's very good advice, especially on the spot. So and then here's another one right on the spot. What advice would you give to a foster parent?
Care about your kids. Care about the kids you're fostering, and make it known that you care about them. because they're already in a tough spot, especially like the kids who, and now I can't really relate to this because I was adopted when I was 7, but the kids who are older, like
or age out,
like understand that those kids are going to be angry and do not get upset with them. That's probably the biggest thing is knowing that there's so much that these kids are going through that they feel like they don't have anyone to talk to, and just recognizing that they are going to be angry, they're going to lash out, they're going to, you know, have all of these feelings that you might not know how to deal with because you're only fostering for whatever reason, but to be able to be like a support for that person.
Absolutely, 100. Again, great advice for that one as well. You're a beautiful soul. If that was for me or Brittany, either way, thank you. I'll thank you on behalf for both of us. I just want to make sure nobody. Okay.
I will say too, just one more thing before we
absolutely.
go. So there is a super awesome nonprofit that is based in the county that I work in. And it has expanded to all 50 states, I believe, at this point. And I always try to like tell people about it because it's just such it's an organization that I just really love. So the organization is called Comfort Cases. And the man who founded it he aged out of foster care. And basically, for those who don't know, it's a big thing in foster care for kids when they move from house to house, that they bring all of their stuff in trash bags. And when I lived in foster care, all of my belongings were brought in trash bags. And again, that's another thing that makes you feel like I'm not even worth having a suitcase. Like all my stuff that I have that's mine is essentially trash. Like that's really, so this man who aged out of foster care, he didn't have anywhere to go, so he enlisted in the military, served time in the military, and when he got out, he decided that he was going to foster. And he got 3 foster children from DC. He lives in Maryland. And all 3 foster kids came with all of their belongings in trash bags. And he was like, how is it that it's been this long and all of these kids still are carrying all their stuff in trash bags? So he started this organization where they put together comfort cases, which are essentially backpacks or duffel bags, and they fill them with comfort items based on like the ages of the children. So like blankets and teddy bears for those that are young, and books. And then for like the older kids, you know, like again, blankets and stuff that's just like comforting for each age group. So, and like I said, they have expanded like all through the country, and they've delivered like thousands of these bags to kids in foster care. So I always like to like throw them out there because they're such an awesome organization.
I'm glad you did. You're making me tear up just by that. Because it's so beautiful, and it's so sad, but it's so beautiful what he's doing.
Yeah.
I love that. You said comfort cases?
Comfort cases. He actually also wrote,
Instagram?
they are on Instagram. I can send you the, I can send
you know
you
how
his
to
page.
pin?
No.
I don't know how to pin. So you know what? When I post the video right after and I tag you, just put in the comments the IG, his IG.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely can.
Yeah. Because I would love to go and support his page, go support him and help in any way I can.
Yeah, he also has a book too, which kind of explains his whole experience living in foster care and what led him up to like all of the struggle. He's also a gay man and he's married, and he talks about his struggles being a gay couple trying to foster, because that's also a big thing where a lot of agencies don't allow gay foster parents. So it's a very multi-layered, like he talks about his time in foster care, his time with his partner trying to foster, and then also adopting. It's a he's very,
There's
very
so many
cool.
layers, I'm sure, to his story as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
So I can definitely link that.
Yeah, absolutely. Just comment his the account on when I post it. But is there anything else that you want to add in that we didn't talk about, or?
I don't think so, unless anyone on here has any questions.
If anyone has any questions or comments for Brittany or myself, let us know. While I'm wrapping up with her, I'll keep an eye out. But you can go follow Brittany on her community account, Adoptee Talks. Again, she will be tagged in the video, so you can just click right on her page if you can find her. But everyone, thank you for joining tonight, And Brittany, thank you so much for coming back on.
Yeah, thanks for
I
having
have to find another reason to have you for season 3.
All right, sounds good.
But you have a wonderful night. Everyone have a great night. If you do have any questions,
yeah, you can DM me.
Yeah,
Yep.
or me or any, and then I'll pass it on to her. But Brittany, thank you so much again, and have a wonderful night.
All right, thanks, Michelle.
Okay, bye.
Bye.